So very briefly before we start, this is an interactive workshop, and we definitely encourage you to use your microphones. You're all muted right now, but if you would like to ask a question, just request to unmute, and we are going to do that. You can ask your questions in the Q&A section or in the chat section. Tiffany is going to monitor that, and then she will be, we both will answer your questions. The session is recorded, and you're going to receive a recording in the next few days by email. And so you can review the recording again. And we are going to share the Devant events in the events that are coming up this month in the next few slides, but also you can visit the website and see what events we have prepared for you for March and April. Okay, so let's start. Today, I really enjoyed this session because we don't talk about a specific topic. We pretty much have like a really nice conversation with all of the participants, and you ask your questions, and we are able to answer them and provide you with some advice. I know that usually I have a questions for you in the beginning. What are your wins like this week, or what are your challenges? You can start with that. But if not, you can go ahead and ask your question. Can be about anything like job search, resume, cover letter, networking, LinkedIn, like anything that you want to ask, please go ahead and do that. We'll be happy to answer your questions. Also, again, if you prefer to use the microphone, just request to be unmute, and then we will unmute, and you can ask your question.
So we have one question so far who came in through the Q&A. So it's from Rajani. She said, I'm about to finish school next month, and they would like to work on building their career in HR and business management. As they're a beginner, they did attend many interviews. They always ask for my previous experience. Even though I have cleared an interview but have no experience, they did withdraw my application. What should I do as a beginner?
Okay, that is a really good question. So, Virginie, okay, so you said you want to build a career in human resources and business management. You're finishing school next month? Congratulations, that's great. So, did you take an HR program? Are you graduating? Like, what program are you graduating for? If you can quickly type in chat, so we'll know. But as a beginner in HR, my advice is to start applying for the entry-level roles like HR assistant, HR coordinator sometimes, and and see what are the requirements. A lot of postings will say, like new grads welcome, just because, like they really enjoy working with new grads and like train them. And also new grads are very eager when they start working. They're really, like good at the job that they're doing. So that is kind of like my advice. When they ask about previous experience, it's okay not to have an experience just because you were in school, like you're studying now, and now, like you studied HR, I'm assuming, and then you're entering the workforce. So that should not be, like a barrier. But if you think that not having previous HR experience is something that stop you to get the job, I recommend volunteering. Like I know that I mentioned this every career cafe like session that I do, but I really think that that's gonna help, so you can put something on your resume when you start applying. There are a lot of companies there that they need like HR associates, HR assistants, HR coordinators, recruiters. So you can do that. Like a lot of volunteer opportunities are online, so you can do while you're also job searching. But you can gain experience, and you can put something on your resume. You don't have to tell them that it's like a volunteer role because you're doing the job. One thing that a lot of people don't know is when you apply for volunteer roles, it's pretty much the same as you're applying for a job, which like it's so unbelievable because it's a volunteer position. You're pretty much doing like free work, right? They're still very competitive. They're always looking for good candidates. So that's what I'm saying. When if you get like a volunteer role, you can put it on your resume, because now volunteers like they do their work. Like I volunteer for an organization. It was called Save the Water. Everything that I did was actual work. Like I was like finding candidates, screening them, like scheduling interviews, scheduling like second interviews with the hiring managers, having conversation. It was like an actual work, right? So like that will help you. You will get that confidence and that experience. And I think you can show that. You can showcase your skills during the interviews. Another question that I have is, did they tell you like that because you don't have experience, that's why like they're not moving forward with your application? Yes. Okay. Because of your previous, because you don't have any experience. Okay. Um, that should not be like, I understand that this is very discouraging, but just like keep going. I'm sure you will find something, because it's a new, sorry, another question. Did you have a co-op? No. Okay. Okay. Because usually if you have a co-op, it's a little bit it's easier because you use the co-op as your experience on the resume. Okay. My suggestion is right now try with the volunteer work so you can gain some experience. Also don't forget the market. It's a little bit crazy right now and doesn't work at the job seekers' favor, unfortunately, but things will change soon, hopefully. The competition is a little bit big. There's not a lot of roles. So that's why all of these things are like happening. But you just have to, like keep applying, make sure that you're tailoring your resume according to the job description, try to connect with recruiters, try to connect with like HR professionals, like attend events as much, like as you can. I'm sure you will find something. But if basically they're saying because you don't have any experience, that's why you're not getting the job, definitely like seek some volunteer opportunities where you will gain that experience and keep applying. Okay, do we have any other questions?
Yes, there's another question in here from Alejandra. So the question is, I recently completed my studies as a project manager at Algonquin College and bring with me experience as an IT project manager from my home country, Mexico. While I've successfully worked with international companies, I've encountered difficulties in having my past experience recognized here in Canada due to it being gained abroad. I'm seeking recommendations or advice on how I can effectively leverage my international experience to find opportunities in the Canadian job market.
That is a really great question, Alejandra. I would say first, like how to leverage your international experience. What I would do is, if you were working as an IT project manager, I would search for like an IT project manager here. Like I will find like a job posting and see like a few job postings, not just one, from different companies, and see what are the similarities, right? And if you have experience with like a software, or like there's like a skill that is required, but it's like showing on the resume, I would focus on that when I describe my previous experience. And I would, like try to add those skills, because those are the transferable, not just transferable skills, but those are the skills that are required for like some like for the IT role. So when the hiring manager reads, like the description, the bullet points on your resume, they'll be like, okay, the experience is actually very similar to what we're looking for, right? Every country is different. So if it's something that maybe, let's say in this example, Canada doesn't use, or they, right, like in IT, maybe don't mention it on your resume, right? Just like try to use the skills that can get you, can grab their attention. So just like look at like a few job postings, see what like what similar things they all have, what are the similarities when you look at the three of them, and then like add that on your resume. Of course, you're adding things that you have experience at, right? Like you don't add anything that you don't want to lie on your resume. So that it's kind of like my first recommendation. That and then when you talk, like try to like just talk about the job. Like don't mention all like back home. Don't mention like like anything like, oh, this was like few years ago. Just say like, as an IT project manager, this is what I did, right? Because usually those are like the buzzwords. If you say like international, back home, and then the employer, like they'll be like, okay, this person like maybe doesn't have experience. That even though like they should not say they don't have Canadian experience, that is illegal. Some of them do that without like telling you, and they will reject your application. So you want to avoid using like those type of words. So that is like, yeah, that's how you can like leverage your international experience. Another thing, we all saw what happened with the IT sector. I know that things are like still happening, people are getting fired. So that is might be like a challenge. It might be a little bit challenging now finding like a role in IT than maybe like previous, when the IT sector was like booming and there were like so many job openings. So consider that as well. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's your international experience, right? Again, like it's, I think for every job now the competition is very big and there are not so many job postings. So think of that like that as well. But yeah, I think you I know that it was like a long question. Tiffany, do you have like anything else to add? I'm just trying to read the question again to see if I didn't miss anything.
Sorry, yeah. Yeah, so a lot of the times too, I work with international clients who back home they had an amazing job and they come here and they're like, okay, great, well, what's next now? And it is definitely discrimination for an employer to not hire someone based off of lack of Canadian experience. So I don't even enjoy using that term, but yeah, definitely I agree with Katerina. So volunteering is definitely a great way. And I know you're already working, as you mentioned, so even not working. So when you apply for a role, you submit your application. What are you doing afterwards? Are you looking for anyone who works there? Are you booking informational interviews and those coffee chats? Because if you can get someone to flag your name to HR or, kind of speak on your behalf, it definitely will make your application stand out a little bit more compared to others. And even having, concrete examples of your work that will make you look more prepared and put together rather than another candidate who does not have those answers and those stories to share with the employer.
Exactly. Thank you, Tiffany. And another thing that I know a lot of people, they don't think about this, but usually like say that people say that sometimes it takes them like 5 to 6 months, like to
Mhm.
find a job. And it's like a very long time, like imagine like job searching for 6 months and constantly getting rejections and not getting like a job. You know what I mean? It's very like discouraging. And I've been there, like that happened to me. I was job searching like, and it took me 6 months until I found something. And again, it really depends how the market is, like what you're looking for, your experience, how much you're like networking, connecting with people, where you're applying, right? Like don't just like apply on LinkedIn, try like apply on Indeed as well, on like job bank, on like different platforms. Another advice that I can give you to like all of you that are job searching, if you see a posting on LinkedIn or Indeed, if you see that posting directly, go to the company's website and try to see if they posted on the website. If you see the job posting on the website, apply through the company website. Those like easy apply on LinkedIn, I don't know why, I don't trust them. I don't think they work. Everybody applies to them. But my advice is when you see on Indeed or LinkedIn, Indeed, I think it's a little bit better than LinkedIn. That it's my experience and experience for the people with the people that I work with. They all say like, I get a lot of responses from Indeed when I apply through Indeed than when I apply through LinkedIn. I don't know why. I don't know what's happening. Maybe it's the ATS, right? I don't have like an explanation. I'm doing a little bit of a research to see why. Just, like I want to know. But my advice is, if you see like a posting on LinkedIn, don't, especially those like easy apply, go first to the company website and see if they have a posting there. And if you see the posting there, apply to the company website. That might be, like another reason why you're not getting like, not just like, like if you're not getting like response, that might be like one of the reasons. Tiffany, like, have you heard about this? Like, it's just like in the
I
last month
I haven't
happened.
I haven't heard about the Indeed versus LinkedIn. I do know I talked about scams before. That's
Mhm.
another thing to be really mindful of is to whether it's on LinkedIn or Indeed, when you are applying, just to keep that in the back of your mind when you're receiving offers and responses. But I haven't had any feedback from anyone saying Indeed has been working better versus LinkedIn. But I always encourage just going to the company page if you find an opportunity that has been posted on one of those platforms.
Exactly. And what I said, like it's, what I mean, don't like, just like this is like advice, what I'm sharing from
Mhm.
what I've heard, also depends of the jobs, right? Like what
Yeah.
they're like, like one person was looking like for writer, right? The other person that I was like helping was like project manager,
Hmm.
and they were like
Hmm.
two different industries, two different sectors, right? And they have like different like not just responsibilities, but they're like different ways of like applying for those jobs. So
Yeah.
that's why I was like, I wanted to do a little bit of research, because the person that was like job searching for like a content writer,
Hmm.
that's what she experienced. She said like, LinkedIn, nothing.
Yeah.
Indeed, like I get a lot of
Interesting.
responses. So
Yeah.
just wanted like to do a little bit of research on my own just to see,
Hmm.
right? Because this is really helpful advice, especially for people that are like job searching. So I'm
Exactly.
not sure if it's, maybe they have like different algorithms for different roles, for sectors. I have no idea, but it was just like a really good feedback that made me think,
Hmm.
like, okay, this is interesting. I really want to learn a little bit about this.
Amazing. We have another question that came in through the Q&A.
Mhm.
So this is from Kinjal. They said that they are a full-time project coordinator, but they're now looking for another job. I have applied to multiple jobs, but I don't get any responses. Can you share any information on a job strategy?
Okay, perfect. So it's a good thing that you have a full-time job. So it's way easier to job search when you have a job already, because it's not as stressful as it is if you don't have a job and you need to find something, right? So that it's really good. You're applying for like project coordinator, correct? Like you want to stay in the same field, because here it says I'm looking for another job. I'm assuming that it is the same field. Kinjal, if you can maybe like quickly in chat, let me know. Um, so job strategies. First, I will start with your resume. So I would like sit and review the resume, make sure you create a resume that it's professional, that it's easy to read, ATS friendly. We have a lot of resources on our Devant page. Please, like access those resources. If you're looking, like for somebody to review your resume, I know that Devon has services for that. So just please like and check the services. I know that they had some discounts. So definitely you can take advantage of that. You can also ask maybe like a friend or like a family member to review your resume. So that's the first thing for all of you when it comes to job searching, right? Make sure that you like review your resume. There are no like spelling mistakes. Resume is like looks professional. It's not crowded, right? Like you just showcase your skills. So that's one thing, right? So you have like a resume. Next thing is when you review the job posting, copy and paste the job posting in a Word document and start highlighting the keywords, the most important things that they're looking for. So if they're using an ATS is an applicant tracking system that helps the recruiters and the hiring managers with recruitment, right? With like selecting applicants. What happens is the hiring managers or recruiters, they will plug some keywords in the ATS and base, like what they have on the job description, and the ATS will filter the resumes based on those keywords. So if you don't have the keywords, you may be number one applicant, but your resume will not be sent to a hiring manager. So most of you, if you apply and you don't get responses, that might be one of the reasons, right? And it's so hard kind of like to figure it out, what are the keywords. But basically, like, look for like the most important things. If they say we're looking for somebody that is organized, has great communication skills and great problem solving skills, guess what? Those probably will be plugged into the ATS. So have those on your resume. So that's number two, right? Like, make sure that you tailor your resume according to the job description, and kind of like when you make sure that you have those keywords and then submit it, right? So when you submit the resume, if you get the response, that you need to make sure that you're prepared for the interview, which can help you the job posting, right? Like, review it so you can prepare for the interview, right? Another thing for job searching is, don't just base your job search. Don't just apply on the job boards, right? Do other things as well, right? Connect with people on LinkedIn. And I know that like that it's not as successful maybe before, but still, like, if you go and connect, expand your network, at least you will see people like sharing jobs, right? That's one of the good things. Like, if you're looking for a job and you have like a lot of connections, a lot of people like will like the recruiter posting, or they will share the recruiter posting. So even if you don't know that recruiter, you will see what they're like sharing, and if it's something that you like, then you can connect with them and apply, right? But also go for informational interviews. So if you don't know what informational interviews are, basically is you connecting with people on LinkedIn, right? And just asking them for 15 minutes of their time to sit and have a conversation, and you're just talking about their career. This is not about you. You're not sharing your resume, you're not telling them, you just say, like, I'm going to use human resources as an example. I'm interested in starting a career in human resources. I can see that you have 7-8 years of experience. I would love if you have 20 minutes. I would love to get your insight. How did you get, like, to this level? What are some things that they need to know? What are some training and skills that they need to gain? So just sit and talk to them. They might guide you to the right direction, right? They might say, okay, maybe you can like, this is what I did. Maybe like connect with this person, or like follow this person. So those are some things that you can do. Network, right? When it comes to job search and networking, a lot of people don't realize that like just applying to the job boards is not the one thing that you do, like when you apply for jobs. When it comes to networking, you never know, you might find a job through your dentist. And I'm not kidding. I facilitated like a session on networking tips with Devant during their Get Hired event, and I was telling this to all of the participants, and one participant just asked to talk, and he said that this happened to him. Actually, because he was talking to people about the job search, his dentist recommended him and he found the job. So, when it comes to networking, you just, like, tell your family and friends that you're job searching. When you go to your hairdresser, to your dentist, they always start these conversations. How are you? What are you doing? Right? That is your chance to tell them, I'm job searching. I'm looking for this type of job. You never know who they know. And it's nothing for them. They'll be like, hey, I know this person. They're coming to my office. They're looking for a job. Please talk to them. And then the hiring manager will make that decision, but that is like one step closer to getting an interview, right? So that is another thing for job strategies, like networking, and not a lot of people do that. So please, like, talk to people. Like, and I'm not saying to go and just like start, oh, I'm looking for a job. No, like, but with people that when you go and hang out with friends, like friends of friends, at work, like school, right? Like, just like tell them when you have a conversation with people, just tell them. And again, like, you never know who can help you. So yeah, those are some like job search strategies. Tiffany, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I think you, especially, I like that you focused on networking, and even just something as simple as mentioning it to your hairdresser, or you're at the grocery store. And it really comes down to that small talk conversation that you obtain and you do with people, right? I've had that happen with me tons of times, where I'm talking with someone and they're like, I'm looking for a job, and this is what the deal it is. I'm like, okay, well, have you tried doing this? Have you tried doing that? Check this website out. What does your LinkedIn look like? So you never know who might be able to support you. So I think, Katerina, you got that spot on. When you share this information with someone, you don't know who they know, right? They might have a vast network. Maybe their partner is in that field. Maybe their sister is in that field. Maybe their best friend or their cousin is working in that field. And that is a very quick and easy referral. So you never know, how this might end up benefiting you in the long run. You're absolutely
Exactly.
right. Yeah. We have a question in the chat from Tanishka. She said, how can I apply for co-op after completing my first semester? So I don't mind going ahead and
Sure,
answering
go
this
ahead.
one.
Yes.
Yeah, so I do. I have worked with some post-secondary students and alumni after graduation or while they are still in the program, trying to obtain a placement or a co-op. So again, I would definitely start with networking, but a great opportunity to learn and take advantage of during this time is informational interviews. So again, you're building your network, you're trying to get your name out there, you're trying to familiarize yourself with the field while you're still learning as well, right? So you're still a student, you're still in the program. Usually, I know that depending on your institution, they might have career advisors or placement advisors, and they have a vast network of organizations they can connect you to as well. On LinkedIn right now, there's a placement advisor who works at Sheridan College. She just made a huge post to her network of thousands of people saying, I have a student named so and so. They're looking to book informational interviews with people in the field. So they had actually reached out to me because I graduated from the same program that they are currently enrolled in. So now this person, and this is a real example, I'm not even making it up. Now, if I know that there's an organization hiring and I've had this informational interview with this person and I know that they're a strong candidate, I would put them forward because I have the confidence and I've had this conversation where I know their skills, their qualifications, they carry themselves well, they speak, very clearly, they ask the right questions. So it's these little things here that do make that big difference. And you may not see that result overnight, but this is all about that long game. Maybe this is for your second job or your third job down the line. You still want to build and maintain those relationships.
Perfect. Tanishka, is the Biz Co-op part of your program?
Can you provide the post of the
The
advisor?
advisor.
I would have to go back and find that, but depending on your post-secondary institution, I know that there's usually someone who's in charge. But yeah, I think Katerina had asked if the co-op or the internship is a part of your program. Because if it's not, then that role would not be available for the program. So is this a requirement?
Maybe we can address another question
Yeah,
while,
another one.
yeah.
This is from Eva.
Mhm.
I have heard that we have to adjust our resume for each job opportunity. So do we have to have many versions of our resume?
Yes. So the question is yes. Every time when you apply for a different job, you tailor that resume according to the job description. So for every job, you should have like a different resume, right? Some of the bullet points will be the same because mainly for, let's say, for project coordinator, there are like a few things that are like the same that they're looking for, right? Like all job postings, they have similarities, but there are some things that are like different. So if you have that skill, so you have to like include it. For example, again, I'm going to use HR as an example. Most of the HR jobs pay, they don't include payroll responsibilities, right? Payroll is not part of HR, it's part of accounting. But there are companies that they keep payroll with HR, right? So if you have payroll experience, you don't have to, let's say, include it if you apply for a jobs where payroll will not be your task, right? You should add something that it's relevant to what they're looking for. But let's say now, like the next job that you're applying, they need somebody that knows how to do payroll. then absolutely, like, you need to tailor that and add that, like, bullet point in your resume. So, like, yeah, in short version, yes, for every job posting, you need to have a little slightly different resume that will showcase your skills. And, and the skills should match the job posting. Okay.
So
Virginia.
we have a second question there. It's basically almost a follow-up based
Mhm.
from your answer. So it said, is it good to make a resume according to the job description that is given on the job posting? A new resume for every application, and that was just answered.
Yes.
Okay,
Rajani, I
so
think, is
yeah.
asking a question. Should we text them directly on LinkedIn to request that for interview? I think you are, like, referring to the informational interviews. Yes, LinkedIn is like a really good source to do that. Okay, I think do we have more questions?
Yes, we have one from Amir, and they asked, could you please elaborate on hourly payment based on the job market?
Okay. So every company has, like, different budget, and it's hard sometimes to compare because you can compare small companies to big companies, right? So that really depends. You all probably know the minimum wage, so they should not pay you less than the minimum wage, but most of the companies offer a little bit more than a minimum wage. So the hourly pay really depends on the job, right? Is it like a full-time or part-time? What are the responsibilities, the job level, and also always keep in mind how big the company is. So generally, small companies might not have, like, as like, huge budgets as the big companies, right? So if you're interested in a particular job, like, in particular company, Glassdoor is the great resource for that. So I would go on Glassdoor, type the job title. You can also, like, type the company name, and you will see reviews from people that work for that company, and they will tell you how much, like, they were making. So Glassdoor is something that you can refer to, because us, we don't know how, like, the companies are paying, right? But on Google, on Glassdoor, you can find that, like, information. And what I sometimes do is I would say, what is the average pay for an HR manager in Toronto, right? And then I will look into the statistics and see how much, like, the different areas are paying for, like, an HR manager, and it tells you by years of experience.
And I just want to quickly add to, so I know you mentioned Glassdoor, amazing website to do that research for an interview, for salary and wage research. I also like to check Job Bank. That's another good one. And even StatsCan. Going on to Stats Canada, and I know you can sign up for certain alerts for if there are certain things that you like to follow up on, whether it's tech related, income, salary expectations. It's a really, really great resource. I can look for the websites and I can put them in the chat here. We do have another question. This is from Abby. So as a part of a previous topic, as a newcomer, I haven't had the chance to build a wide network yet, making it challenging to secure job referrals from contacts. Could you provide guidance on how individuals in this situation can approach asking people for job opportunities?
Okay. Okay. Secure job referrals from contacts. Okay. Will you provide guidance on how individuals in this situation can? Okay, so I know that cold calling is something that people might do to get a job, but I know that right now it's not working. So if you're referring to going to the company and just approaching them and asking if they have any jobs open, it's not going to work, because now everything is online. What they're going to say is, please go ahead and apply on our website. And they're not going to collect like resumes. This worked 7, 8 years ago. A lot of people were doing that. Now that it's not the case. What I can recommend is try to find people on LinkedIn and see if you can find their emails, work emails. So maybe instead of like messaging them on LinkedIn, you can send them an email with your resume and just say, hey, like, I'm looking for this job. Here's my resume. If you have anything in mind, feel free to do that. A lot of companies have human resources emails. It's not like the hiring manager, but it's the human resources like general mailbox that the recruiter or like the HR coordinator usually manages. So I would try and do that, right? Like maybe send your resume, because they have a database. And if they don't have something, they will put you in the database, and a position comes up, they might reach out to you. I will go like and sign up on company websites, right? Like sign up. They have like career opportunities. And I know that a lot of companies on their website, they'll be like, please sign up, submit your resume, then you will be in our talent pool. And if something comes up, we will reach out to you. I will do that, right? So that's how you start networking. You connect with people on LinkedIn, you connect with recruiters. Recruiters are not always helpful, but if you have the right skills, because they work on commission, right? And if you have the right skills, they will push for you, and then you might get a job, right? So I'm not saying that all of your fake should be like in recruiters, but you should connect with them, especially find a recruiter that it's working, that it's working with professionals, that it's working with people from your sector, so they will have access to more job opportunities, right? So I'm in HR, so I'm working with recruiters that work with HR professionals. And you will see Randstad, especially, they have so many different like sectors, right? Recruiters work with different like professionals. I will also try like and see Redwood, like Apple One, all of those like small companies that might like they might be able to focus a little bit more on you, because at small companies they don't get a lot of applicants, right? So like try to find like small recruitment companies, agencies, not companies, sorry, small recruitment agencies, because the big ones, they have a big talent pool. So the small recruitment company might be like more successful in finding something, because they're very eager to find the client and bring them the candidate. So those are like some tips from me. Like, Tiffany, do you have anything else to add?
Sorry,
That's
I
okay.
was muted there. But yeah, definitely, I really do agree with what you say. In terms of the networking, following up, establishing that network. I'm just going back to the question here. I'm just going through the chat.
Mhm.
So were we talking about the job market research? Which question was it? Sorry. Okay, perfect. Yes, that was from Abby. I think I had cleared the question from my end. Okay, perfect. We do have another one in the Q&A. This is from Emiliano.
Mhm.
Said, hi, I'm looking for a full-time related job to digital marketing. I graduated in August last year. And since then, I've been applying to jobs mainly on LinkedIn and company job boards. What can I do differently to have more replies and job opportunities? Or do you know if the industry is not growing or hiring people with those skills? I recently used ZipRecruiter. Do you recommend it?
ZipRecruiter is good. We mentioned Indeed. I will definitely go Indeed. Job Bank, it's like another one. Monster, I think Monster still exists, right?
Yes.
Yes, Monster. Like I would try different job boards. I would not focus on LinkedIn. I'm glad that you're applying on companies' job boards, that you're going to companies' websites and you're applying there. I would also like again, so LinkedIn, Indeed, ZipRecruiter, Glassdoor. Glassdoor Indeed bought Glassdoor, so they're like connected. Monster, so I will try their job bank. Then the same advice that I give like the other participants, try to network. Like Tiffany said the same thing. So both of us, we all really like agree on networking, like connecting with like other people, like family, friends, like again, like hairdresser, dentist, grocery store, like try to network, try to connect with people for like informational interviews, try to connect with recruiters. I can see like another question that says, do you recommend job leads recruiters as a good option? I think, like working with a recruiter, it's a good option, but that should not be your only option. So Emiliano, that applies to you too. I would connect with recruiters and recruitment companies and work with them and see what they can offer, because it's always good to have somebody also looking for jobs for you. But I, again, like don't like have that much faith that they will find you a job. For some people works, for some people doesn't work, right? But it's always good to work with like a couple of recruiters. My last job, a recruiter found that, and like it was a really good opportunity for me, and I never believed in recruiters because mostly they will like ghost me, they don't respond, like they do stuff like that. But let's like, I didn't have like a lot of faith, but like I was always working with them. And then this recruiter was so great, she found me a job like in 2 weeks. So that's what I'm saying, like always make sure that you're like having different things, that you're doing different things. um what else? Like now I know that a lot of people are doing events in person. I would download Meetup. It's an app where there's so many different groups. There are like entrepreneurial groups. There are like groups about like HR, there are groups about like project management. If you want to develop a new business, there are groups just for networking. So you never know who you can meet. A lot of people go there like to make new friends, to expand their network. You can like review what it's on Meetup and you can join some of their events. So that it's my recommendation. If there's like an association, or like some like a group that has professionals like yourself, I would join those group and start a conversation, just because that's how people can like can help each other. Like I'm in HR, and if I see something in HR, I can help like a fellow HR person. I'd be like, oh, I saw a job, like go ahead and post, because most of my connections are in HR. I follow recruiters that are in HR, they work with HR professionals, so the postings are about HR, right? So I would like try to build relationship with like professionals in the same field. Do we have any other questions?
Yes, I also just shared a few resources in the chat there. So we talked about Glassdoor. So the website is there, Job Bank, StatsCan. And for those of you who are looking for project-based roles, like I know there was someone who mentioned digital marketing or volunteering opportunities. Basically, Upwork is a website where you can sign yourself up. And for those who are seeking work to hire for a few projects, they would be able to find your profile from there and be able to hire you for a period of time or for a certain project that they're working on. So those are really great websites there. So just going through here, I believe we have one question from Aisha who had come in. So she says, I am a first year student and I would love to hear a bit more about the volunteer opportunities that were being mentioned. Where can we find out about these opportunities?
Okay. For volunteering, I would visit Charity Village. So Charity Village is a great website that posts a lot of volunteer opportunities. Companies go on Charity Village and they post their volunteer opportunities. I volunteered for Save the Water. So I recommend check their website. They have like a lot of admin HR postings, and they have a lot of like STEM postings. So like if you're like study biology or like chemistry, Java, IT, like they have like product development, they have a lot of those like jobs. So I would recommend Save the Water. There is another one that says like UN, I think, volunteer. So like check that one. And I think there is also one for Toronto. I think it was called like Toronto Volunteer. So I would go on Google, just type like volunteer opportunities, jobs, or even like websites for volunteer opportunities, and a lot of things will come up, because I'm sure that there are like new job boards that are out there, so you can try and apply on all of them. But Charity Village is the most popular one. And oh, there's another one, I think, volunteer match. So yes, so I think volunteer match, charity village, check Save the Water. Save the Water is actually the organization, and they have postings on their website, but also they post with charity village.
Amazing. So we do have another question that came in. It says, I'm in semester 1, have just started browsing the job market. Would like to know if part-time jobs are difficult to get for full-time students.
I can start. So if you're a full-time student and you're looking for a part-time job, if it's, let's say, more in the hospitality, right, or like customer service or like retail, it's not as hard to get as a full-time student, because here in Canada you just share your schedule with the hiring managers and you tell them when you're available, so they will schedule you based on your availability. So if you go and say, hey, I'm a student, full-time student, I'm working for a part-time job and I can work Thursdays, Saturdays, and Sundays, they will know that and they will schedule you during those days. So it's not as hard, like to get jobs. You can go and work at the grocery store, Tim Hortons, like all of the fast food chain restaurants, right? You can work as a server, you can work at like the mall, they're like, I know that they're hiring, so you can find like a part-time job very easy.
Mm-hmm.
On the other hand, like if you're looking for a part-time job in like a specific field, let's say I'm in HR and I'm looking for a part-time job in HR, it will be hard. Like even as like professional that has experience and it's looking for part-time jobs are hard to find because there's not as many part-time jobs as full-time jobs. A lot of companies need like a full-time commitment, right, where you go and work 40 hours per week. Part-time jobs, they come, but there are not so many. Even if you go on Indeed or if you go on LinkedIn and you just type part-time job in your field, you will see that like a few things will pop up. So that's the difference. But if you're looking just for like any type of work where you will gain some experience, you will make some money, right? I think it would be easy because you just talk to the hiring managers and you share your schedule and they will schedule based on your availability.
And I know with school, every semester, your schedule changes, right? So from September to December, your class and your schedule might look one way. From January to April, it will look different, right? So your availability and your scheduling will definitely change from month to month. I had worked retail in the mall while I was completing my studies. So it's just about looping in your manager, letting them know. But yes, like Katerina mentioned, if it is a job in your field that you're looking for and it's something that's a little bit more professional, requires that education, I do find that it's tricky. It's very rare to find those opportunities. And then when you do apply for them, I'm not sure how likely it is that you will hear back, just because that the demand and how competitive it is for the flexibility for certain candidates.
Exactly.
So I don't have any other questions at this time. But did anyone have any other concerns, questions related to job search, resumes, LinkedIn, Indeed?
We have 9 more minutes.
Perfect. So we have a question from Simran. I graduated in December and applying for jobs since then in the manufacturing industry. I have 5 years of international work experience as an engineer. I have been applying on Indeed and company portals, but not getting any response. Can you suggest what I should do differently to get a response?
So I feel like I we kind of like share a lot today and about like job search. If you're applying only on Indeed and LinkedIn, right? Maybe you should try like and apply on different job boards first, right? Like what we mentioned, Glassdoor, Monster, Job Bank. There's so many different ones. Try and apply on those as well. Do not just like focus, narrow down your job search,
Mhm.
to only applying on these job boards. Try networking, like we mentioned. Try to connect with people on LinkedIn. Try to attend events. Try maybe some volunteer work that you can add on your resume. Also, like, you never know who you will volunteer with, so they might know somebody that can refer you. So like, try different things when it comes to job search strategy, right?
Mhm.
Also make sure that you're like tailoring your resume according to the job description. I know myself, when you're like applying, you're so tired, you're like, I know, I think I have everything, I change, but sometimes I didn't spend enough time to like tailor the resume according to the job description. I'll be like, I don't care, I'll send it. So I know that, and I like, no judgment there. It happens. It's just frustrating,
Mhm.
and I hear you. Like, I understand what you're like going through, but like, make sure that you're like go like reviewing your resume, you're like like you're tailoring according to the job description, you're passing that ATS. I know that at Devant, I think we have like a job scan option where you can check and see if your resume passes the ATS. Job scan, it's another company that another program that you can find online, and you can copy and paste the job posting and then upload your
Mhm.
resume, and then it will match and it will tell you if it will pass the ATS, what are some of the keywords that you might include in your resume. So those are some things, like that you should try. Just don't focus on LinkedIn or on Indeed. I know that it's hard, but just keep going. Try different things. I'm sure you will find something. And again, like, to everybody, the job market is not good. So,
Yeah.
so just like remember that might be one of the reasons why it's now like so hard to get a job. Like, as a nature, I can see it. Like, it's so hard to find applicants. Everybody's staying with the company. Like, people are not moving. They're all looking for stability, especially with like this huge layoff happening all over North America. Like, not a lot of companies are hiring. So it will take some time for the job market to rebuild. So that might be one of the reasons, right? Like, why you're not getting like a response.
Mhm. And one thing I wanted to quickly add into, when we talk about LinkedIn, there are many different usages that you can, benefit from. I know for myself, one thing that I always share with the clients is joining groups. So maybe you're in manufacturing, see if there is a group that you can join for manufacturing. Sometimes there are people who post jobs that are on there, or if you post, say, hey, this is my resume, does anyone have any feedback who works in the field? People will get back to you. If you're working as a business analyst or a data analyst and you're looking for that feedback, there are tons of different groups that are available on LinkedIn, depending on your industry. And you can even just search for job fairs. You can just go on Google and type in tech job fairs, project management job fairs, digital marketing job fairs, and you will be surprised at the results that come up. So the job fair may not be happening next week, it could be happening maybe in 1 month from now, but that gives you the time to do the research on the company, see who's working in HR, message some employees who work there, and build up those connections until the time comes around. We have a message from Amir that says, may you recommend at first to get involved in survival jobs or something related to our experience considering the future? I can go ahead and answer this one. I would definitely say it's based off of your financial stability, right? My priority is understanding that my clients have bills that need to be paid, right? So if you are saying, okay, well, it's been 2 months now of job search, I'm currently unemployed, maybe I will temporarily take on a survival job and job search when I have the time. But please ensure you are making the time as well. So when I'm working with people who have full-time jobs, the first question I ask them, if you're working full-time, when will you have the time to job search and interview? And that is when they first start thinking about it. So if you're thinking to accept a survival job, just ensure you have a plan in place for yourself as to when you're going to job search. Does this mean you're going to sign up for job alerts instead and have those jobs sent to you? When will you have the time to tailor your resume? If you have to go on an interview, will you be taking a sick day? So these are the things that we want to take into consideration. When it comes to focusing on a job opportunity that is related to your experience, I would always prioritize that first. But again, it's based off of your personal financial needs at this time.
Perfect. So we have 3 minutes left. I'm just going to share the coming the events that we have in the next couple of weeks. So next week, Wednesday, March 13, we have Connecting with Confidence, LinkedIn Networking. I think it's a really great workshop. Please attend, so you will learn a lot about LinkedIn. On Wednesday, March 20th, we have Employer Insight, Crafting Your Career Story. So this is a really great event. Absolutely, like read a little bit about on the Devant website and sign up. And then Wednesday, March 27th, we have the immigration Q&A. So discussing immigration status well with employers. So these are amazing sessions. Please go on our website, devant.ca / all events, and then you can register. We also have one-on-one career coaching promo. You can schedule, book a session with one of our coaches, Tiffany and myself. We are coaches at Devant. They have a promo for $95 per hour. You can have an hour one-on-one with your coach, and then you can go through everything. Like they can give you feedback on your resume or like job search strategies, LinkedIn presence, review your LinkedIn profile. It's like a really great opportunity. If you're interested, please, like take advantage of it. So we have 1 minute left. I just want to say thank you so much for joining us today. I really hope that you enjoyed this session, and you learned something. I hope that it was helpful and resourceful. If you if attend the other sessions too, because I think you will learn a lot there. And thank you so much all. And again, thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, thank you so much, everyone, and enjoy the rest of your week.